Welcome back to the New Moon podcast, where we talk all about success, growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Ali Marchand, and sitting next to me is the one, the only, Sandro Cazzato. Welcome back, Sandro.
Hi, Ellie. I'm very happy to be with you here and to record our sixth episode of my podcast.
It's amazing, right?
Yes.
Sandro is a coach and sales expert who grew to manage over 50,000 people in Western Europe across just 16 months. Incredible. Sandro has learned so much on this journey and towards success, and this podcast is just to help share the lessons he's learned along the way. If you're new here, welcome. I highly recommend going back to listen to some of the past episodes where we dove deep into topics like failure, mindset, motivation, being self-employed, what that's like, and more. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what you've been up to, Sandro. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Let's get into it. The last episode, you mentioned that this is going to be a really exciting time for your team. So I would just like to hear how that's going.
Yes, it's exciting and on the same time also a very challenging time because such a big growth brings also its challenges and we are about to launch a very intense phase of our business, which is the next three months, which are going to be super intense because they are anyways naturally intense. March, April, and May are one of the best months in our business. But we decided to put like even more intensity in it, with the difference that this time we're going to focus also a lot on quality. Okay, it's not only about quantity, growth, etc. We want really to create sustainable processes, which we're going to teach the entire team. And we want to really create a business which can endure for the next 10 years. So it's important to throw the base now so that one day when we are going to be 1 million in our team, everybody knows what there is to do, and we will have created some duplicable processes that everybody is aware of and everybody can teach other people to do the same.
That's amazing. I think that's great business advice too, is just to create processes that are easy to teach and replicate so that when the business does grow, it's not stopped by processes that you can't, you have to take time to teach somebody else or nobody else can do it but you.
Exactly.
Stops growth, right?
We anyway say that we don't do rocket science. It's a handful of skills that you need to master with the time. Now we combined with some additional education, which goes in direction of knowing how to delegate some tasks to others, because this lets you grow into this leadership role where we want to bring you, if you want that, of course. And you will have some tools and methods for your team to also control and monitor the growth of your team. So it's something that I'm sure everybody will appreciate. And it's one more milestone that we are just hitting, because I remember the sentence that someone told me years ago, that it's always in stressful times or in difficult times where you bring up the best ideas. I would say that today we are living in very stressful times because the growth of our team, the expansion in Europe, so everything, we are really, I don't want to say struggling, but we are really at the limit of what we can do. So that's the point where we brought up this new system of duplication, of replication, so that we are giving the tools to the existing leaders and to the future leaders of our team, that they can use it in their teams to improve quality.
That's amazing. I think that's such good business advice. And one of the tools, I remember you mentioned it a few episodes back. Can you explain one of the biggest tools that I think you've been really focused on lately within your team, and kind of how that tool is adding to this process of success and growth and replication?
Yes. So I'm all about personal development. My motto is progress is perfection. So I always try to improve myself to find out like these little tweaks that can release even more potential of my personality. So 1 year ago, a friend of mine, he told me about a test, like about a method to analyze the personality of every single person on this earth. And of course, I was very curious about it, but back then I didn't have the time to even look at it. So 7 months ago, it was June last year, he organized for me and for some of my teammates a course, 2 day course where we were there, we attended the course, did this personality test, and a master trainer, he explained us how that works and what that means for us now that we know who we are. I was very impressed because I strongly believed, and after this course even more, that you can give your best only when you know yourself, until the deepest of what's in you, what drives you. So this test was for me like a key moment, because not only I found out what drives me, what I like, what I don't like, where are my strengths, where are my weaknesses, but it somehow gave me also the explanation why in my life I took this kind of decisions, why I built my house like I built my house, the style and all the other stuff. So it really gives you a map how to read your character, how to read your personality, and how to strengthen even more your strength, and how to learn to manage your weaknesses. So this was a life-changing moment for me, because not only I got to know myself, but I also learned how to look at others and how to read other people, the people who surround us. And works very well, not only in a business context, but also in a private context at home with your family, with your partner, and with the people you're surrounded by.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so true that the more we get to know ourselves, the more clear our path is, and the better we feel about what we're doing, right? So I'm curious. So this was 7 months ago when you took this test. Is that right? What were the next steps for you? Like, did you implement it immediately in your team? Did you take that information and process it a little bit? Did you write about it? Like, what was it like after you got those results?
So after I got these results, I was very euphoric and excited and told everybody about it. Of course, I already tried to analyze a bit the team partners who didn't do the test. Some of them didn't do it yet, because we decided to focus on how to implement our documentation, the way how we present our business, based on what we learned in this course, because every person on this earth has all three colors.
Which is how the test explains it, right? So you have a mixture of 3 different colors, and those are like your results. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's not that you're either this or that. You're always all the three, just in different percentages, in
Okay.
different proportions. And your dominant color is what you are, what you really are, and the sub-dominant colors, they tell you how you behave in stress situations.
Okay.
So, of course, if you talk to a broad audience, you need to know, for example, that the biggest part of humanity is of the color green. The bit smaller part is red, and the smallest part is blue. So when you want to present an opportunity to someone, you want to make sure that all the three colors are covered in the way how you communicate. So the first thing we did is we adjusted our opportunity meeting presentation in order that we would cover all three colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because of that, but just to give you an example, until then, we had every Monday evening during our opportunity presentation, 400 people on the Zoom call. After we changed and we implemented, the number went up to 800 people.
Wow.
In the meantime, our Zoom room is full with 1,000 people that listen to this opportunity every Monday evening. So I'm sure that with this little tweak that we did on our presentation, we were able to to target even better on our audience.
And can you explain what that looked like? So the test helped you address a broader range of people, but how did that actually look within changing the presentation or the way you communicated it?
Okay. So for this, you need to know that I'm a blue person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very numbers guy, facts related. I live out of perspective. That means I always think, what can I achieve tomorrow? I don't care a lot what I have now. I always work on what can I achieve tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And this made the presentation look a bit dry, a bit too about the numbers, too about the facts. So a green personality is all about community, get together. Green personality feels then welcome and when there are people. Okay, it's not a person who likes to be alone somewhere. Why? Because the green personality is someone who doesn't like conflicts. So they are really there to preserve the human race. Okay, that's their main purpose, of course. Being together, that means that they feel warm and safe and they are in the right environment. Red personalities, there are just three colors, by the way. Red personalities are results-driven people. They want everything and now. They are very interested in their status. They want to be part of an elite. They want to be the best. These are this kind of people. So changing some phrases, some sentences in the presentation made them okay for everyone. Okay, for example, we started to mention that we organize events where people come together and we spend time. We all also go for dinner together after these events, and this is to
Community, green people.
exactly. Instead, when I show the slide of our career, when you can clearly see that from a certain level you can earn over 70,000 a month, this is for the red personality who wants to be the best. So they just have their eyes on the 70,000 and that's it. Blue people, they care more about, okay, how developed are we already in Europe? How big is the opportunity? How big is the perspective? How creative can they be in this project to lead also to growing more in Europe? So we covered all the three components on three different topics, and this made everyone being identified with this opportunity.
Wow, that's incredible. I imagine when you first were telling me about the three colors, I was thinking in my head, it must be hard to attract both green people and red people, because if green people care about community, but red people want to be part of the elite, those are like opposing forces, right? So I understand how you did that. That was brilliant in your presentation. Is it sometimes hard, though, to communicate to these two opposing kind of personality types?
Absolutely. It's
And
one of the biggest challenges. And that's why we understood that we need to give to our leaders the keys how to manage a team where you have green people and red people. And we are just about to really start to profile all the members of our community. But this will be for them a game changer because we will allow them also to analyze their team. And if you see that as you said, you have 50-50, 50 green and 50 red. I would, for example, recommend that you do 2 separate meetings
Okay.
and you talk with green people in one way where you work more on all together and community, and we all can achieve this. Instead, when you talk with red people, you want to be like, you can be, that's the cool thing, you can be like more pushy, more motivating, to find out who's the best of this group, because in a red group, everybody wants to be the best.
They can compete with each other.
Yes,
They like to
they
compete.
love competition. They need competition. They also want to see their name next to the number one. You see, they want to win the prize, and their name should be published on the community leaderboard where we see who won what. You know, this drives red personalities.
Okay.
But the downside is that they are not scared or afraid to go into conflicts. So you need also to be able to manage this kind of people. You just need to stay calm, to let them talk, to always be kind towards them. Because when you start answering in the same way like they are coming to you, then
Argumentative.
it's really, there is no end to this, you know, it will escalate.
Yeah.
So these are just a few ways to show you how Structogram can really impact your leaders, your team, and improve the daily life, how you lead people from a leadership point of view. But I think the greatest result is what everybody feels and will see in themselves, because you start to get like a manual, like a user guide, how to read your personality and yourself.
Wow. So I completely see that from a leadership point of view, from a management point of view. But I'm wondering, for the people in our audience that maybe just work a 9 to 5 or work for somebody else, or maybe have dreams of becoming a solo entrepreneur, or, you know, can this personality test also help them?
Of course. I mean, we all invest today lots of energies in doing things that we don't like to do.
Mm.
The difference is, or to say it better, it's not that you don't like to do. It's just that in your nature, you're not made for this. Okay, it's a bit controversial to the whole conversation about comfort zone and so it's not that you have an excuse now to say, hey, I'm not made for this. It's not that, because you can still go out of your comfort zone, try it, but you will notice that your skills or your body is not made for this. It's like me trying to be a world-class athlete in something, you know. My physique, I can train 20 hours a day. I will never be able to do some kind of stuff. And the same thing is with our biostructure. Just to give you an example, there are blue types. They love the organization, the structured way of working. They love, for example, to do PowerPoint slides. When you ask a red person to do PowerPoint slides, they will probably do it, but it's not what they really like to do, because they are more focused on getting the results, on, you know, driving things. You're really asking too much from a person who's red if you want to let them do some PowerPoint slides for you. What does it mean concretely? That you have the power as a leader to let your team play in the roles they love to play because they are good at it. And the person focuses on things to strengthen even more their strength. Because I believe that if you want to excel in this world, if you want to be the best in some discipline, you need to work on the things that you are already good at it. not, you shouldn't try to find your top skill in your weaknesses, because it's not going to work. But this system is going to show you what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, also how to manage and to improve your weaknesses. But the focus is for sure in strengthening your strength.
Wow, that's all fascinating. It's really interesting because you hear of so many personality tests like out there, and very few of them have just 3 results, right? And but it makes sense. Like it simplifies things, and we are more alike than we are different. So these like 16 personality types, these 18 whatever seem like a lot for the human race. What else are the differences between this personality test versus like the ones you hear about, like Myers-Briggs or other ones?
Listen, I analyzed almost all of them. Okay, I told you I'm very all about personal development, so I want to know myself. I want to know who I am in order to be a good leader for my people. That's like my main goal. So I analyzed many of these tests, and Structogram is the only one who takes his analysis from our genetics, because the 3 colors are nothing else than our 3 brain functions that everybody has. Okay, and we have the brain who's sitting here in the back. We have the smaller brain inside of our head and the bigger brain outside. So green, red, blue. Okay, so these 3 brains release some hormones in our body and are driven by some emotions that we live during the day. So it doesn't matter if you do the test today and you change your job and your profession 10 times and you do it again, the results will always be the same, because that's you, that's in your genetics, that's in your biostructure. So it's something that you will always take with you, because that's your true personality. And life is tricky, because with the time, with our family, with our job, with all the circumstances that happen during life, we tend to think something about us that it's not our real personality, because our context is always forming us and shaping us. I'm only talking about the outer shell, because in the inside, in our biostructure, we will always stay the same. So I loved doing the test. I loved reading the interpretation of my test, because for me it was some kind of founding back to my original personality when I was younger and not contaminated by all the other things that happened during my life that brought me where I am today. So that's the power of this test, and that's why I decided to focus on this one, because compared to other ones which are more theoretical tests, this one is biologically proven. That's it.
So in other tests, you can almost lie to yourself because you can be hopeful about it, right? You can answer, all those questions that are like, I am likely to save someone if I see them in a car accident. And you can be like, yeah, I would definitely do that. But your biostructure can't lie to you like that. Your biostructure might be like, no, you wouldn't do that.
That's
Okay.
absolutely.
Wow. It's incredible, really. I wonder how they do that. With science is just so advanced these days.
Yeah. But I must tell you, it's not something new. It's something that exists already for decades, but it's not known. It's not really known. So the things that people can achieve after they know who they are, it's really crazy, because I mean, everybody feels sometimes that they are in the wrong place. It's not the place who's wrong. It's just that you don't know who you are, and you don't know which is the right place for you.
Yes.
That's the thing. So you have no chance today to judge if that's the right or the wrong place with you, because the main thing is you. So first you need to know you to understand which is the right place for you.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost like your North Star, right? You can keep coming back to it always. If you take this test, you can, if you feel lost, you can just go back to your results and say, okay, I'm obviously in the wrong situation. How can I take myself out? How can I control what I can control and really remove myself and put myself in charge and back in a situation where I can excel?
Exactly. You asked me what or how did we use the test also in our business. What you just said is crucial because every single person needs to cover three needs in their life. Need number one is they want to get more energy from the environment than the energy they are investing. Give you a very simple example. If you work 20 hours a day and you earn 1,000 euros or $1,000 per month working 20 hours a day, we agree that you're giving more energy than the energy you're getting back.
Yeah.
Right? So that's point number one. Need number two is your environment, your the relations that you have to your people. You want to be in an environment who brings you up instead of being in an environment who puts you down. Okay, so that's need number one. Need number three, people want to be part of a project. People need something to which drives their perspective, which drives them to go on with the specific situation for days, weeks, months, because they see where they are going.
An end goal.
Yes. So you can assume that everybody who starts a business with us is someone who is not happy about one of these three needs, or maybe with two, or maybe with all the three. So already knowing this and going into a conversation with someone that is taking the decision to start with us the business, I know exactly what kind of questions to ask. I know, for example, I would ask, why weren't you not so satisfied with your previous situation? Why did you feel the need to look for something else? What didn't you like of your previous job? These are all questions that makes you understand what was the need that wasn't fulfilled by the previous situation. And after you know what it is, you start to understand which type of personality it is. Because someone who's looking for energy is a red personality. Someone who's looking for relations is green personality. Someone who's looking for a project is a blue personality.
Wow.
So that's the way how you can start to categorize the people, but that's the final result is only when the person is doing the test.
Right.
But I just taught you how you can start to identify someone so that you can adjust communication with this person.
Wow. That's fascinating. And how would someone go about doing this test? Is it just online, or how do you?
No, actually, to do this test, you need to contact the company Structogram. They have master trainers all over the place. We have the opportunity to give these courses within our team. That means that is some exclusivity that we got. I'm very proud of this because it doesn't exist twice.
So someone could contact you, for example.
Yeah. You could contact me and
Wow.
get like more information, and I can show you. I can teach you how to do certain things. It's of course something that can bring you forward in life, can give you answers, maybe the answers you were looking for all the time. So, and it's of course a very, very good investment that you can do in yourself.
Can anyone contact you, or do you have to be on your team to get this?
Actually, you need to be on my team, but if you want just some information, you can contact me and I can tell you more about it.
Oh, wow. So the first step, if this episode has resonated with you at all, or if you're interested in the structogram personality test, would be to get in touch with Sandro, maybe via your Instagram, your YouTube, anything like that.
Of course, through my Instagram, that's the best. Or you can leave me a comment in YouTube and I will try to contact you.
Wow. I mean, this test is really fascinating. I can't wait to hear how it helps in these next 3 months with your team and the reorganizing and the creating processes. I'm sure that every time you go back to the drawing board, you'll kind of think back to the personalities on your team if they've taken them
Absolutely.
and use that.
The thing is, we are not, even though structogram is not known yet, there are very big companies which use the structogram to design their processes, to teach their entire teams. I don't know, are we allowed to say names of other companies?
Yeah, of course.
There is, for example, the Volkswagen Group.
Yeah.
You know it?
Yeah.
They have different brands. They have Skoda, they have VW, they have Audi. Why do you think a group like this have different brands? To satisfy 3 different...
Types of people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Skoda is for green people. If you have ever seen a Skoda advertising, you will see a family going into a family car. They will drive through the wood, and then a little snail tries to cross the road, and the father goes on the brakes because they are very nature-oriented. Then they open the car and the dog jumps out. So this is a typical advertising where you can communicate with green people. VW is for blue people. They are very lean, clean, minimalistic. You see the advertising, how a guy wakes up in the morning, goes to the bathroom, everything is in its place. He checks the time, goes in the car, arrives on the parking with the car, goes out, does like this, and is happy with himself.
Okay.
He was faster this morning in preparing and going to work.
Okay.
3, red personality, Audi. You see like how the gasoline is combusting in the
engine.
In the engine, and how the fire goes out of the combustion chamber, and that you see how it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, and the driver goes is pushed into the seat. That's red, right?
Wow.
That's Audi is designed for red people.
Wow.
Just to give you an example how powerful this method is, and how the biggest companies on the world are using it to target the information on their audience, but also how to coach their teams.
Incredible. I had no idea that big companies like that were using, I mean, makes sense, personality tests. Wow.
Yes.
Well, you know how we always end every show with the same question. So I'm just going to ask you, for the next 30 days, for the next new moon cycle, what will you be working on? You can bring back that exciting time for your team, but also maybe some personal things, maybe your daily habits. What is Sandro working on for the next 30 days?
So for the next 30 days, I'm taking a week off. I'm going to the mountains.
What?
Just before the 90 days run that is waiting for us.
Okay.
After this is clear, it's going to be a super intense phase with only a few hours of sleeping. But I told you we are very focused on improving the quality in our team to make it even more sustainable. Because as I said, growing every month is something, but healthy growing is more important. So the next month is going to be all about intensity and quality in our team.
I love it. Well, I think that's all we have for the 6th episode of the New Moon podcast. If you enjoyed this episode or have been enjoying all of the episodes, I highly encourage you to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts on the New Moon podcast. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, share it with a friend. All of that helps grow these amazing conversations. We also have a YouTube channel and Sandro's personal Instagram at
Sandro. You just replace the A with the number 7, which is my favorite.
And like we mentioned in the podcast episode, if you are interested in this personality test, please message Sandro. He's very eager to share the information. how you can use it in your personal life, in your professional life, all of the above. Sandro, we'll talk next month.
Yes, thank you very much, Ali.